There's a sickness spreading across the minds of the masses. Not a virus, not something in the water. Worse, it's the disease of unearned opinion, and it's devouring the world from the inside out. Everyone thinks they have the right to speak, to broadcast, to judge, to decide, but few, so very few, have earned that right. They sit in rooms echoing with confirmation. They nod at headlines, scream with a herd, type with trembling fingers behind screens that shield them from consequence. And they call it truth. But it isn't truth. It's noise. It's fear wearing the mask of confidence. It's ignorance dressed in the costume of conviction. And it's killing minds by the millions. Let me tell you something brutal, something raw. You do not have the right to speak unless you've paid the toll. And the toll is steep. It's not a college degree. It's not a flood of likes. It's not a sense of moral superiority. The toll is pain. It's solitude. It's self-dissection. It's the crucible of asking yourself the question, how do I know? Not what do I believe? Not what did they say? But how do I know? Because if you don't know, you are a weapon in someone else's war. You are a puppet, dancing on strings, made of marketing, politics, and manipulation. You're not a thinker. You're not a warrior. You're a pawn, proud of the chains wrapped around your mind. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you're hearing the war drum. You're waking up from the noise and stepping into the storm. And in that storm, the truth is not whispered. It's screamed by those who earned the right to scream. To be dangerous in this world, you must dismantle yourself, rip your thoughts apart, burn your opinions to ash, and start again, brick by brick, based on what you know to be real. And how do you know it's real? Because you tested it in fire. Do you want to be free? Do you want to live without chains? Then you must kill the version of yourself that was built by assumptions. You must bury the weak voice that speaks before thinking. You must declare a silent war on your own mind and emerge as something new, something forged, something feared. Let the others scream into the void. Let them parrot trends and slogans and lies. Let them dance in the circus of fools. You are building your mind like a fortress, stone by stone. No room for fiction, no place for hollow noise. So next time you feel the need to speak, pause and ask yourself, do I know what I'm saying? Or am I just regurgitating what made me feel safe? Because there is no safety in delusion. There is no comfort in borrowed beliefs. There is only weakness, wrapped in the illusion of strength. And that illusion breaks when life hits. Hard, and it will. A storm is coming. Maybe it's already here. And when it hits, only the grounded survive. So don't be grounded in emotion. Be grounded in truth. And truth is not comfortable. It's not convenient. It's not always pretty. But it is unbreakable. And the ones who wield it, they're rare. They're silent. They're feared. You don't need to speak loudly. You don't need to win every argument. You only need to know. And when you know, they'll feel it. In the silence between your words. In your eyes. In the weight of your presence. So become that person. The one who doesn't need to shout. Because truth walks with them wherever they go. The one who doesn't react with emotion. Because their foundation is built in reason. Don't speak unless you've bled for the truth. Don't lead unless you've lived what you preach. Don't believe unless you've broken it down to the roots and rebuilt it yourself. Otherwise, stay silent. The world already has too many fools shouting into the dark. Be the one who knows. Earn your mind, or be owned by someone else's. The battlefield is real, and only the accurate thinkers survive. You said, loyalty. The word alone drips with virtue. It sounds noble. It sounds honorable. But most people speak of loyalty like it's a badge they get to wear, without earning it. They toss it around in conversations. They swear by it in empty promises. But when fire rains down and pressure crushes bones, they vanish. Because loyalty isn't a word, it's a discipline. And most people are too soft for it. You don't get to claim loyalty because you like someone. You don't get to flash it around because it's convenient. Real loyalty, the kind that moves mountains, is cold. It's quiet. It doesn't ask for applause. It just shows up when it matters most. But here's the truth they won't tell you. Loyalty has a cost. And if you aren't paying it daily, then you're just pretending. Loyalty demands sacrifice. Loyalty demands consistency when your emotions turn on you. Loyalty is tested when the ones you stand with are bleeding, when their reputation is under fire, when your loyalty could cost you everything. And still, you stay. Because without loyalty, you are nothing. Just another self-serving shadow, changing masks with the wind, switching sides when it benefits you, cutting ties when they become inconvenient. You want to be great? Then anchor your loyalty where it's due and stand guard over it like a warrior at the gate. Give loyalty to those who've earned it, not to those who flatter you, not to those who bait you with favors, but to those who show up when no one else will. Those who speak truth to your face, even when it cuts. Those who bleed beside you, not just cheer for you when you're winning. You want to build an empire? Then understand this. Empires are not built on charm. They're built on loyal alliances, forged through time, tested in fire, and bound by something deeper than ego. And if you can't be loyal to someone else, you won't be loyal to yourself either. Because loyalty is a mirror. If you betray others when the pressure's on, you'll betray yourself just as fast. When it's time to grind, when no one's watching, when everything's on the line, you'll fold. Because you never learned to stand for anything. So stop saying you're loyal. Start proving it. Every day. With your time, with your silence, with your word. And here's something no one will tell you. Loyalty makes you dangerous. Because when the world sees someone who cannot be swayed, who will not break under social pressure, who holds their post when others run, they fear that person. Because that person is rare. That person is unshakable. That person is not for sale. Be that person. Be the one who honors the bond. The one who guards what matters. The one who never runs when things get dark. And if someone proves disloyal, cut them loose. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with finality. Because loyalty isn't something you request. It's something you live. So here's your test. Right now, who do you owe your loyalty to? And are you living like it? Because if you're not, then everything else you're building is already cracked. And when the pressure hits, you will fall. Loyalty is sacred, and it is earned, not gifted. Not everyone deserves yours. But when someone has it, make sure they never doubt it. Because in a world full of fakes and flakes, a loyal soul is worth more than gold. Be loyal. Be real. Be rare. Or be forgotten. The world is drowning in noise. Voices everywhere. Opinions stacked like corpses in the streets. Everyone has something to say, but almost no one has earned the right to speak. We live in a culture where certainty is worshipped and truth is optional. People scream their beliefs louder than ever, yet they whisper when asked for proof, because they don't have any. They never did. They never cared. They heard something. It felt right. So they repeated it, and repeated it again, until it calcified in their mind like a tumor, festering, rotting, transforming them from human to mouthpiece. This is the epidemic of empty opinions. And if you don't cut this habit out of yourself like a surgeon removing cancer, it will own you. It will sabotage your name, your decisions, your future. It will wrap itself around your mind and choke the clarity from your soul. You'll think you know, but you won't. You'll feel righteous, but you'll be blind. You'll become the very thing you swore you wouldn't be. Just another pawn in someone else's narrative. Let me ask you this. Where do your opinions come from? Do they rise from study, experience, tested logic? Or do they crawl up from a pit of emotion, hearsay, and fear? Do you fact-check what you believe? Or just echo what strokes your ego? Because if you're not demanding evidence for your thoughts, then your thoughts don't belong to you. They belong to the loudest voice that got to you first. And here's the harsh truth. Reality doesn't care what you believe. Reality doesn't bend to opinion. It crushes the unprepared. You can tell yourself the bridge isn't broken, but if you walk on it, you'll fall. You can convince yourself someone is trustworthy, but if you didn't verify, don't cry when they stab you in the back. You can say you're smart, but if you parrot garbage without sources, you're not wise. You're just noisy. Understand this. Opinions are not currency unless they're backed by fact. Your words don't buy influence. They cost you. Every sentence you speak without clarity or evidence is a liability. And the world is watching, weighing, judging. Not your passion, not your delivery, your accuracy. So if you want to be powerful, if you want to be respected, if you want to walk into rooms and be felt, then you must become a precision weapon. Calibrated, measured, sharp. No more blurting just because you can. No more latching onto surface-level narratives. No more hiding behind the phrase, "I believe," as if that makes it real. Because belief without foundation is not power. It's delusion with lipstick. And don't fall into the trap of false humility either. Some of the most dangerous people are the nice ones who say, "Well, that's just my opinion," as if disclaiming it makes the poison harmless. It doesn't. It spreads. It infects. If you have not studied it, don't speak on it. If you cannot trace your thoughts back to their source, don't defend them. If someone asks you, "How do you know?" and you don't have an answer, you are already exposed. This is not just a mental habit. This is war, and your mind is the battlefield. And in war, sloppy thinking gets people killed. Sloppy thinking loses fortunes. Sloppy thinking destroys legacies. So either you develop discipline in thought, or you become collateral damage in someone else's game. From now on, make this your rule. Every opinion you carry must stand trial in the courtroom of your mind. It must be interrogated. It must face evidence. It must be stripped of emotion, bathed in logic, and rebuilt with steel. Otherwise, it dies. You want to be elite? Start thinking like it. The average man argues. The superior man asks questions. The dangerous man? He says nothing until he's certain. And when he speaks, the room goes silent. Because they know he's not guessing. So be that man. Be that woman. Be that rare soul who doesn't flinch at truth, but carves it into the bones of their being. Because the world is full of mouths, but it's starving for minds. Choose your side, the herd of noise, or the few who think. Just remember, the loudest voice in the room is often the one who knows the least. And the quiet one in the corner, they're not silent because they're scared. They're silent because they're accurate. There's a thin line between power and poison, and its name is ego. We all carry it. That voice in the dark that says, I'm special. That fire in your chest that whispers, I was meant for more. And maybe you were. But let me tell you something most won't. That same voice that drives kings to rise also lures them to ruin. You want to know what ruins more lives than failure? Success, mixed with ego. Ego is the phantom that clings to every victory. It tells you you're different. It tells you the rules no longer apply. It tells you you don't need help, don't need correction, don't need improvement. And that's when it begins. The slow rot, the silent fall. Because here's the truth. Your ego is not your identity. It's your reflection. And reflections lie. You comb your hair. You polish your skin. You wear the costume. You play the part. You want the world to see you, not as you are, but as you want to be seen. That's vanity. That's not strength. That's mask work. You're more than your appearance, more than your title, more than your likes, your audience, your spotlight. And until you cut through that illusion, you'll never build anything real. Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you to kill your ego. I'm telling you to chain it. Because without ego, you'd never try. You'd never stand up. You'd never say, I can do this. But when ego controls you, you stop listening. You stop learning. You start playing God in a game where reality doesn't care who you think you are. I've seen it 1,000 times. The ones who think they're untouchable are the first to bleed. They don't see the knife until it's buried in their back. Why? Because they thought they were above preparation, above humility, above the grind. Your ego doesn't want discipline. It wants praise. It doesn't want truth. It wants applause. It doesn't want to be built. It wants to be worshipped. And that's why you need to turn on it. You need to drag your ego into the cold mirror of reality and ask, what part of me is real? And what part is just noise I've fed myself? Am I good? Or do I just want to feel good? Do I want truth? Or do I want to be right? Do I want to grow? Or do I just want attention for pretending I already have? If you're too full of yourself, there's no room left to improve. And the moment you believe you've arrived, you've already started decaying. Look around. The most fragile people you'll ever meet are the ones hiding behind arrogance. They project strength, but they're one honest conversation away from collapse. Don't be one of them. Make your ego serve you, not enslave you. Let it fuel your ambition, not your arrogance. Use it to walk into the fire, not to pretend you're immune to it. Here's the paradox most can't accept. The strongest warriors bow first, to truth. They sharpen their blades with criticism. They welcome correction like armor. They don't run from discomfort. They hunt it down. Because real power doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need the spotlight. It doesn't need validation. It stands in the dark and prepares. So ask yourself right now, is your ego your ally or your executioner? Have you used it to build your kingdom, or has it made you blind to the cracks in your own walls? Because if you don't confront it, life will. And when it does, it won't whisper. It'll break you, and no one will feel sorry for you, because you did it to yourself. So check yourself before the world humbles you. Refine the mirror, chain the beast, and walk with something greater than pride. Walk with purpose, because pride screams, but purpose whispers. And purpose doesn't care how good you look. It only cares that you finish what you started. In the end, they'll forget how loud you were, but they'll never forget the results. So kill the vanity, starve the delusion, and let the results speak for you. There's a prison more suffocating than chains, more silent than solitude, and more dangerous than any enemy. It's the prison of the mind without vision, and most people live there. They wake up every day, go through the motions, clock in, clock out, eat, scroll, sleep, existing, not living. Not because they're incapable, but because they've lost sight of what could be. They've become prisoners of the present, slaves to survival, worshippers of comfort. You see, imagination isn't optional. It's not just for artists or dreamers or kids drawing on paper. Imagination is your weapon. It's your escape plan. It's your blueprint. It's the one thing the system can't touch unless you give it up. But what good is a weapon if you never aim it? What good is imagination if you have no vision to guide it? You think being stuck is the problem? No. Being blind is the problem. You forgot what you came here for. You forgot to dream in detail. You stopped seeing beyond the fog of your circumstances. And slowly, bit by bit, you accepted the lie that this is just the way it is. Wrong. This is just the way you see it. Change your sight. Change your life. But here's where it gets darker. Some of you have imagination, but it's destroying you. You use it to build catastrophes in your mind. You imagine betrayal, failure, judgment, doom. You build vivid images of everything that could go wrong. And guess what? You make it real. Uncontrolled imagination is a curse. It drags you into paranoia. It amplifies fear. It creates prisons with walls only you can see. So let me ask you a brutal question. When was the last time you saw something worth dying for? A mission that pulled your spirit from the dirt? A future that burned so bright you'd set your excuses on fire just to touch it? Because if you haven't seen it, you're already fading. You don't need more motivation. You need vision. You need to resurrect the forgotten king or queen in your soul. The one that used to believe. The one that used to see the impossible and grin. But vision doesn't come to the lazy. It doesn't visit the fearful. It doesn't whisper to the distracted. Vision is a ghost that appears only to the relentless. So how do you get it back? You go into the silence. You burn the world's noise from your ears. You shut out the influencers, the doubters, the failures pretending to be experts. And you listen. You listen to that cracked voice inside that says, I want more. Not more stuff. Not more praise. But more life. More meaning. More fire. And when you hear that voice, don't question it. Don't analyze it. Don't explain it away. Feed it. Fuel it. Let it consume the lesser version of you. Because here's the truth no one wants to face. Without a vision, you will perish. Not instantly, not dramatically, but slowly, day by day. You'll die in inches, until one day you look back and realize you were buried long before they put you in the ground. But not you. Not anymore. You're going to see again. You're going to build that internal empire brick by brutal brick. And you're going to let your imagination rise. Not to fantasize, but to forge. Forge your next step. Forge your identity. Forge your future. The system wants you blind. The world wants you obedient. But vision makes you untouchable. It gives you direction when others drift. It gives you clarity when others are confused. It gives you fuel when others fade. So don't just imagine, design, director, dominate. Build the image of who you must become and march toward it like a war general with nothing left to lose. Because if you don't, you'll end up following the one who does and pray they know where they're going. But if you dare to see, if you dare to imagine with purpose, you become something this world can't predict, control, or stop. You become vision incarnate, the storm with eyes wide open. The rare few don't just have sight, they burn with it. They told you truth was subjective, that facts were flexible, that reality could be shaped by the loudest voice or the flashiest headline. They convinced you to outsource your perception, to silence your instincts, to second-guess the one voice that has never lied to you. But I'm here to drag you back to what you already know. You were born with a weapon, sharper than steel, more reliable than emotion, and more accurate than any expert, guru, or algorithm. You know what it's called? Discernment. It's that subtle tension in your gut when something doesn't sit right. It's the chill up your spine when a smooth-talking liar grins in your face. It's that quiet voice in your chest whispering, "They're hiding something." But somewhere along the line, you stopped listening. You let the noise drown it out. You let the crowd override it. You let comfort replace clarity. And now you believe lies because they sound nice. You trust opinions because they're popular. You swallow propaganda because it's packaged with emotion. And you wonder why your life feels crooked, why nothing makes sense, why the foundation keeps shaking beneath your feet. It's because you've muted your internal compass, and that compass is sacred. Here's the cold truth. Most people don't want to know what's true. They want to feel secure. They want certainty handed to them in pretty language. They want belief without burden, conviction without confrontation. But truth doesn't come easy. It doesn't whisper. It waits. And only the ones who question everything get to hear it speak. The greatest thinkers didn't trust the crowd. They studied it. The most dangerous minds didn't follow truth blindly. They chased it down, cornered it, interrogated it, until it revealed itself. And you must do the same. That means questioning what you read, what you hear, even what you want to be true. Because sometimes your desires will lie to you faster than your enemies ever could. They'll tell you he's honest, because you're in love. They'll tell you the opportunity's golden, because you're desperate. They'll tell you you're ready, because you want to be. But your gut knows better. And if you just stop running from that still, small voice inside, you'd see what others can't. You'd dodge the blade before it cuts. You'd sidestep the trap before it springs. You'd become undeceivable. You want power? Here it is. Learn to feel lies. Not read about them. Not guess. Feel them. Because lies always come dressed in perfume. But something is always off. A pause. A look. A tone that doesn't match the words. And when you feel that, don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it. Don't talk yourself into pretending everything's fine. Investigate. Question. Dig. Because every time you silence that voice, you bury your own power. And every time you listen to it and act on it, you become more dangerous, more grounded, more unstoppable. You don't need to become psychic. You just need to stop betraying your own intuition. The lie will always tremble under the weight of pressure. But the truth? It holds steady. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't sell itself. It just stands. So sharpen your inner blade. Use it on yourself first. Slice through your assumptions. Cut away your emotional fog. Demand evidence, not entertainment. Seek clarity, not comfort. And don't you dare accept a truth you didn't earn. Because once you train your mind to spot deception, the world becomes a chessboard. You see the patterns. You see the tells. You see through the curtain. And the ones who used to manipulate you, they become powerless because you no longer buy what they're selling. You're not a consumer of narratives. You're a hunter of truth. So from now on, if your soul twitches, pause. If your gut clenches, dig. If your mind raises a red flag, stop pretending it's green. Because your inner truth detector isn't broken. It's just been ignored. And once you awaken it, train it, trust it, you will never be fooled again. Feel the lies, smell the deception, slice through it, and walk away, untouched. Most people fear criticism. It stings, it lingers, it exposes. But what they don't realize is that there's something far more dangerous. Praise. You've been taught to chase approval, to drink validation like water, to feed off compliments like they're oxygen. But what happens when the praise becomes poison? What happens when the flattery isn't truth? It's a trap. That's when the real damage begins. Because criticism forces you to reflect. It sharpens you. It cuts. But praise numbs you. Praise softens the blade. Praise whispers that you've already made it, when you haven't even started bleeding yet. You must understand this now. Not all who praise you want your growth. Some praise you to control you, to disarm you, to plant comfort in your soil so you stop reaching for more. They will butter your ego until you can no longer grip your sword. They'll inflate your confidence until it floats you right into failure. And you'll smile the whole time. Because you thought it was love. You thought it was support. But it was manipulation with a sugar coating. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You must treat praise the same way you treat insults, with skepticism and scrutiny. When someone applauds you, ask, why? What's their motive? What do they gain by lifting me up? Because people don't compliment you for no reason. They do it to align with you, to earn favor, to manipulate outcome, or to hide what they really feel. You see, false praise is a mask. It protects the liar from conflict and shields your ego from growth. But real praise, earned praise, it's rare. It doesn't inflate. It challenges. It's not, you're amazing. It's, you're on the right path. Don't stop now. See the difference? Empty praise seeks to trap you in the current version of yourself. Accurate praise pushes you forward. So train your mind for this. When someone flatters you, don't smile. Don't relax. Listen. Quietly. Closely. Is it accurate? Is it specific? Is it coming from someone qualified to judge? And most importantly, is it helping you evolve or making you comfortable? If it's comfort, reject it. Because comfort is not your friend. Not now. Not ever. In this world, it's the people who dare to tell you the truth that sharpen your edge. It's the rare ones who look you in the eyes and say, you're slipping. You're capable of more. You're getting soft. Those are the voices you should lean into, not run from. And if you're lucky, if you're wise, you'll learn to become your own critic. You won't need to wait for praise. You won't flinch at insults, because you'll be operating on a higher frequency, the frequency of self-awareness, That's the level most never reach, because it requires dissection. It requires you to cut your own pride open with a scalpel of truth. No anesthesia, no comfort, just raw surgical honesty. And once you master that, you become unshakable. No praise will distract you. No insult will define you, because you know where you truly stand, not based on applause, not based on backlash, but based on your own internal metrics, discipline, growth, precision. So the next time someone flatters you, don't let it sedate you. Let it ignite your curiosity. Ask, is this praise or pacification? Is this truth or a velvet dagger? Because not every compliment is a gift. Some are bait. And if you're not thinking clearly, if your ego is hungry, you'll swallow the hook. Be smarter, be sharper, be still, and never let praise pull you off your mission. Because you're not here to be celebrated. You're here to conquer. And the battlefield doesn't care how admired you are. It only respects results. Love is beautiful, but it's also blinding. It makes statues out of strangers. It paints halos on devils. And if you're not careful, it becomes the fastest way to lose everything you've built. This world has been cracked open by betrayal, not from enemies, from lovers, from friends, from partners, from those you welcomed into your circle before they proved they belonged. And the worst part? You handed them the blade. You smiled while they sharpened it. And when they finally used it on you, you didn't see it coming, because you were too busy looking at who you hoped they were, instead of who they actually were. This is the danger of admiration. This is the trap of trust. This is the silent war behind every ruined warrior. You must understand this now. Love does not equal loyalty. Admiration does not equal alignment. Just because someone says the right things, just because they make you feel seen, just because they flatter your wounds, does not mean they are safe. You can't afford to give your trust freely. Not anymore. Not in a world where masks are sold wholesale. Not in a world where performance has replaced principle. You must become cold with your discernment. Not heartless, but calculating. Not cruel, but cautious. Before you trust someone with your name, your time, your energy, watch how they behave when the spotlight fades, when no one's clapping, when things go wrong. Do they stay? Do they shift? Do they vanish? Do they reveal teeth you didn't know they had? Time reveals everything. So let time do its job. Don't rush to trust. Don't sprint into someone's arms because they said the right thing. Because snakes hiss compliments too. Because manipulators love to study your weaknesses before they strike. You want to survive? You want to rise? Then slow down your trust and speed up your observation. And above all, watch yourself. Because the truth is brutal. You lie to yourself more than anyone else ever could. You convince yourself that they're different. You look past the red flags. You justify the inconsistencies. You want it to be right, so badly, that you let your own heart blindfold your eyes. But not anymore. Not here. Not in this life. You will be tested. You will be tempted. You will be seduced by admiration. And when that happens, you better ask the only question that matters. What have they proven? Not what have they said. Not what have they promised. What have they proven through action, consistency, and fire? Because words are weightless. Only action holds mass. Only endurance reveals truth. Let others be naive. Let others fall for the charming smile, the perfect timing, the sweet words. You watch. You test. You remain still. Because you're not building a house of straw. You're building a kingdom of stone, and kingdoms don't let just anyone through the gate. From now on, trust is earned, slowly. And once it's broken, there are no second chances. Not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. Love people, but vet them. Support people, but don't worship them. Admire people, but never let admiration override evidence. The heart is a compass, but if you don't calibrate it with truth, it will lead you straight into the fire. So stay grounded, stay guarded, and never forget this. The ones who hurt you the deepest are the ones you let in without question. Question first, always. And if they pass the test, then, and only then, may they earn your loyalty. Until then, keep your gates closed and keep building alone. Be careful who you push away. That person who just made you uncomfortable, who questioned your excuses, who called out your blind spots. They might be the only person in your life who actually gives a damn. See, most people don't want to offend you. They want to impress you. They want to be liked. So they stay silent. They smile at your weakness. They clap for your mediocrity. And all the while, they're watching you drown in your own illusions. They say, it's your life. They say, do what makes you happy. They say, you're doing amazing. But what they really mean is, I'd rather see you lose than risk you being mad at me. That's not friendship. That's betrayal dressed in kindness. Now look at the one who challenged you. The one who saw your potential rusting in the corner and had the courage to say, this isn't good enough. Did you get defensive? Did you shut them out? Did you label them as harsh, controlling, toxic? Because sometimes, the truth shows up dressed like a villain. And if you're too weak to face it, you'll exile the very voices that were sent to save you. Here's what you need to understand. Criticism is a gift wrapped in fire, and only the forged can hold it. You think your greatest allies are the ones who praise you. No. Your greatest allies are the ones who trigger you into awakening. The ones who see the cracks in your mask and refuse to let you keep wearing it. They might be annoying. They might be blunt. But they are honest. And honesty, in a world built on illusions, is sacred. Listen to me. The most valuable people in your life are not the ones who agree with you. They are the ones who confront you. They are the mirrors you want to break, the voices you want to silence, the shadows you avoid, because they reflect the truth you're not ready to see. But the truth doesn't care if you're ready. It shows up anyway. And when it does, you have a choice. Grow or stay soft. You want to be great? Then get used to discomfort. Get addicted to accountability. Crave the feedback that hurts, because that's where your limits are exposed. And where limits are exposed, growth begins. Stop surrounding yourself with yes men. Stop chasing applause. Build a circle that is willing to wound your pride to protect your future. Let me ask you something brutal. Who do you have in your life right now that dares to correct you? That tells you when you're off track? That holds you to a higher standard even when you resist? If the answer is no one, you're in danger. You're not surrounded by friends. You're surrounded by cowards. And the truth is, some of them want you to stay weak, because your weakness justifies their own. Your excuses make them feel better about their failures. Your comfort gives them permission to quit on themselves. So here's what you do. Find the ones who challenge you and pull them closer. They are rare, they are raw, and they are priceless. Build your circle out of warriors, people who sharpen you with truth, not smother you with comfort. People who'd rather lose your friendship than watch you lose your future. People who'll say what no one else will, because they see what you could be if you just stop lying to yourself. These are the friends worth bleeding for. These are the voices worth enduring. Because when the lights go out, when the crowd disappears, when the pressure builds and the world turns cold, they won't be the ones telling you what you want to hear. They'll be the ones standing behind you, reminding you of who you said you wanted to become. So don't flinch when they call you out. Don't walk away when it stings. Don't bury the lesson under your pride. Learn, adjust, evolve. Because in the end, you won't be remembered for how many people liked you. You'll be remembered for how many you impacted. And impact doesn't come from flattery. It comes from truth. Respect the ones who tell it, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. You've just been handed the arsenal. Not sugar, not sympathy, but weapons, forged in fire, sharpened by truth, and designed to cut through every lie that's ever held you back. Let's recap what you've just received. Not for entertainment, not for comfort, but for warfare. Mental, emotional, spiritual warfare. You started by learning that you have no right to speak unless your words are built on stone. Facts, not feelings. You were told the truth. The world is already choking on baseless opinions. Don't become another echo. Become the voice that only speaks when certainty has been earned. Then you were confronted with loyalty. Not the empty kind people post about, but the kind that bleeds, sacrifices, and endures, even when it's not convenient. You were reminded, loyalty without discipline is just noise. After that came the plague of empty opinions. You were shown how dangerous it is to walk through life assuming, guessing, believing, without basis. Because every untested opinion is a weapon aimed at your own mind. Then, the beast of egotism. You saw how ego, when unchecked, doesn't elevate you. It enslaves you. But when mastered, when kept under your control, your ego becomes a tool, not a tyrant. Next came the warning about vision and imagination. You saw that without a clear, burning vision, your imagination becomes your prison. You either direct it, or it destroys you. Then, you were shown your inborn detector of lies. You were reminded that within you is a compass, a gut-level mechanism that knows when something is off, but only if you stop silencing it. Then came the praise trap. You learned that applause can kill you faster than criticism ever will. Not all praise is love. Some of it is poison dressed in velvet. And then, the knife hidden in admiration. You were warned. Don't trust anyone until they've proven themselves. Because the quickest way to get stabbed is to hand someone a sword just because they smiled at you. And finally, the lesson that cuts deepest. Your truest allies might be the ones who make you the most uncomfortable. The people who call you out might be the only ones calling you up. So now, you stand at the edge of transformation. Not because you heard something new, but because you remembered what you've always known. You were never meant to be weak. You were never meant to be soft. You were never meant to be manipulated, swayed, or sedated by comfort. You were meant to see clearly, think deeply, act with precision, and surround yourself only with those who hold the line. So from here on out, no more speaking without truth, no more loyalty without reason, no more opinions without proof, No more ego without control. No more imagination without vision. No more ignoring your internal alarms. No more chasing praise. No more blind trust. No more pushing away those who sharpen you. This is the new standard. And if you rise to meet it, you will become unstoppable. Not just successful, but unshakable, unbreakable, unforgettable. Now go back into the world, eyes wide, heart armored, and mind like a blade. Because the war isn't over. But now, you are finally ready to win.